Get back to Arkansas. All right. Hey. You don't do right. Have we started? Then I should probably stop singing Ray Charles songs. We are live on YouTube on the Comedy Schools channel. We're live on ComedySchoolsRadioNetwork.com. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are live on Facebook Live. And we are living a thin line with Tony. I am Tony Vicich. We come to you every day at 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. It's actually Arizona time because right now Arizona's Pacific time. I go through this every day. The more I explain it, the more confused people get. I'm not going to explain any longer. 2 o'clock my time. My time. That's what matters. Me. I'm what matters. All right, sorry. I almost went full Joe Pesci on you. We are your daily distraction from all the anger, anxiety, weirdness, and hoopla going on in the world today. We come to you on 3 platforms: ComedySchoolsRadioNetwork.com, YouTube Comedy Schools channel, and Facebook Live, my own personal page. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your pals, tell your buddies, tell everybody. Shout it from the rooftops, shout it from the mountaintops. Shout. These are the things I want you to talk about. Tell people to like, to request, to be a friend with Tony Vicich, Vicich, and they too will be able to enjoy these afternoon festivities when we take a break from whatever the heck it is we're doing. And I think it's a good time to have a break, too. If traditionally you have lunch at 11:30 or 12, you're ready to, by 2 o'clock, you're done anyway. Have you noticed that if you work in an office, that you go in the morning, you hit it hard, and then you go to lunch, and after that, it's like, oh, okay, just hold my calls. You can tell it's a long time since I worked in an office. Hold my calls. No one's holding anybody's calls. No one's working in an office anymore. But this is a good time to take a break, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I have nothing to be have any anger or anxiety about right now because I did not watch the news today nor read the news. I've been too busy with the stuff in my personal life. Very excited. I spent a good part of the afternoon booking comics on shows. I want to say this, that I almost enjoy booking other comics on shows as I do performing myself. I might enjoy it a little more at this time. It's just a cool thing to be able to call up someone and offer them a gig. You have to understand that for every one gig there is in the comedy world, there's 100 people that can fill it. So usually 100 people vying for the same job. Same thing in the acting industry. One job and 1,000 people who could actually do the job. So there's very few parts, very few things that only that person could do them. There's a lot of people that can make you laugh, and it's choosing with a certain level, with a certain criteria, those that you want to have. And have I got a great lineup shaping up at Arizona's newest comedy club? It's in Gilbert. We call it Greater Phoenix. I think even out here in Maricopa, we considered it. My foot was caught on a wire there. We consider it Greater Phoenix. We're in the Phoenix, just like if you're in Long Beach, you're kind of in Southern California. You're really part of Greater Los Angeles, all the way down even into Orange County. So hello, Tina. Hello to you, old friends. Hello, my brother Jerry. Hello to everyone who is watching and listening now and in the future. JP's Comedy Club. I am putting together a great lineup of headliners starting September 17th. September 17th will be the grand opening, soft grand opening of JP's Comedy Club. And yours truly, me, Tony Vicich, will be the headliner along with Jim Perry. It's going to be a great night with a lot of other guest comics. I love this club, and I'm going to tell you why. My whole thing is shaking. Ah! Did you have your foot on the? All right, that was like one of those things. Wow, what happened? And nothing. A tripod fell over. Maybe it was my foot. I don't know. I don't know what's going on here with the wires underneath. Are you guys okay? That was a little freaky, wasn't it? Oh my God, the whole studio fell over. It was my phone on a tripod. Don't panic. One of the things that I love about JP's Comedy Club is that we are really utilizing this incredibly diverse, creative, funny, talented. There's the problem right there. All right, we're going to fix that. It's one little wire. There we go. No more worries. This incredibly funny, diverse, creative, talented pool of comics that live in Greater Phoenix. I've been telling people for years, this is just one of the It's a hotbed of creativity. I know when you think of hotbeds of creativity, you still don't think of Phoenix. You think of Paris in the 20s, New York in the 60s or 70s or anytime in New York, Los Angeles, San Francisco in the 60s, Seattle in the 90s. You don't think of cities like Cincinnati or Cleveland or St. Louis or Phoenix as being hotbeds of creativity. When it comes to music and comedy, this is one of the true hotbeds, and we're going to be able to utilize a lot of those people. We'll be creating some of those shows on Zoom, live and on Zoom, and a lot of you are going to be able to witness them, and they are darn funny, good shows. So you want to be watching for that. JP's Comedy Club grand opening September 17th. I believe they're going to start doing open mics this week. This week, they'll be doing open mics at JP's Comedy Club. So that's pretty cool as well. So anyway, that's going on. I don't know what's going on. I've been doing that all day, booking that. It's one of my favorite things to do, along with booking some private shows. What's going on is people are just tired of just stuck doing nothing, and I'm not talking about those people that went out and go, I ain't wearing no mask, I'm gonna do what I want. And some super spreader Susie. I've heard of Karen. People go, Karens. Oh, she's a Karen. Karens don't bother me. Karen, you know what a Karen is in real life? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, moms and dads. A Karen is just a woman who is asserting herself. That's all it is. I want to talk to the manager. I've said I want to talk to the manager before. Every time I'm dealing with some company on a phone, eventually I go, all right, is there someone else I may speak with? Nobody calls me a Carl. Oh, he's a Carl because he wants to talk to the manager. I talk to the manager because whoever I'm talking to is not giving me what I want. So women that have now been kind of categorized as people go, I want to talk to the manager, and called Karens, are nothing more than human beings who feel that they are not getting what they justifiably have a right to, whether it's a better deal on a product or the respect that they deserve to be shown as a customer in any sort of service industry. That being said, what else can I tell you? Totally lost my train of thought. JP's Comedy Club, September 17th, all right? You're going to want to check that out. But I have not, like I said, I haven't been watching the news today. I don't know what's going on. I didn't get much sleep. My wife is getting a lot less sleep than me, Shirley Vicich, who just happens to be also the producer of this show. She's not getting much sleep because of Ray, the dumpster cat. I think that should be Ray's full entire name. Ray, the dumpster cat. Is a cat who probably may have been less than a day old that my wife found in a dumpster. I don't know what my wife was doing rooting around in a dumpster. I got to be honest. I've never gotten to that part of the conversation. I've never said to her, what were you doing in a dumpster? So actually, she wasn't. Tina Mike was this. Welcome to 65. It's been a great show so far. I've knocked over the equipment and have lost myself in mid-thought. I'm batting whatever, a number. Pick a number. I'm batting it. It's not a good number, though. She was actually throwing something in a dumpster where someone's doing construction in a house next to where she was, and heard the wail and cry of what is now officially known as Ray, the dumpster cat, who is now, I think, 9 days old and doing just fine, in case you're wondering. One of our dogs has a little pain going on, and the vet prescribed liquid hydrocone. There is liquid hydrocone in my house. You know how badass that stuff is? One that could string you out. I told her, I said, be careful you don't give the dog too much of that, or she'll start wanting to play the saxophone. That'll turn, hey, baby, what's going on? Bow wow. A bow wow, baby. Hey, baby, it's bow wow. Hey, how about we have some snacks and treats? She'll become a snagglepuss. And she'll become Sammy Davis Jr. as Snagglepuss. I was talking to my friend Doug Starks. By the way, if you can remember the name Doug Starks, a friend of mine, Doug Starks, has a great variety show now online. A variety show. Full on music, dancing, comedy, everything online. I mean, he puts on a big production out of, I believe, the Coach House or the Coach House area are the people with the legendary Coach House in San Juan Capistrano. Christopher Bennett says, Karen is morphed into a woman that calls the police on black people for doing absolutely nothing wrong. Yeah, there was that woman in Central Park. Absolutely, without a doubt. There was that woman in Central Park. But I don't think that's what all Karens have morphed into. Karens are, you know what? Let's talk about this for a second. Bias is wrong. Prejudice is wrong. Preconceived, coming to conclusions without studying the facts of the matter is wrong. Making decisions about what a human being is or was or says or does just based on the looks or appearance is wrong. I know it's wrong. You know it's wrong. We should not do it. Okay? And we shouldn't put people down for their looks, the color of their skin, the sound of their voice, their physical abilities. It's wrong. It's absolutely wrong. Here's the weird thing. Okay? That part of being human comes out somewhere. It comes out somewhere. And as I started seeing this whole movement of calling a certain type of a woman, usually a Caucasian woman, Karens. Oh, she's a Karen. Oh, she's a Karen. She's a Karen. Okay? There was ways to call him bitch. Oh, she's a bitch. Shut up, bitch. Came from that. Okay? I go, it's the same thing. Maybe not as vitriolic, maybe without the same power or weight or authority behind it. Because when you call someone who is a minority a disparaging name, there's a certain amount of weight of authority, unfortunately, very much unfortunately behind it. But when you call a woman a Karen, it's not much different than calling someone who's Mexican a disparaging name or an African American. It's not much different in its intent and in its comfort to those who are calling it, because it makes you feel good to think you're better than someone. So think about it a second time. The woman who called the cop on the guy in Central Park, that was horrific. The guy was a bigger man because he said, you need to leave this woman alone now. She made a mistake. She lost her job. She lost everything. There's too much of that going on in the world today, ladies and gentlemen. Too much of people's, you could rob a bank. You can attempt to murder someone, all right? And you will be able to go back to leading a normal life sooner than a lot of people who are then attacked and disparaged and have their lives destroyed. There's this woman, I can't remember her name, but she was Melania Trump's best friend. Now you could go, oh, she shouldn't have a friend like Melania Trump, but maybe she should, maybe she shouldn't. Maybe Melania Trump was one thing and then became something else. But she became the scapegoat. She became the fall guy for what appears to be millions of dollars missing from Donald J. Trump's inauguration, up to $40 million unaccounted for. And they decided to blame it on her. And when she talked to Melania about it, Melania goes, well, that's just the way it's going to be. You're going to be the fall guy. Wow. Everybody's looking for a fall guy. Everybody's looking for a scapegoat. And usually if you're looking for a fall guy or a scapegoat, they have done nothing wrong. But they're just the ones that have the least ability to defend themselves. Yet this woman is Stephanie Wiskoff. Yeah, sure. You know what? And Tina Michaelos and Chris Bennett, those of us from Jefferson County, Missouri, Stephanie Wiskoff probably wouldn't have given us the time of day 4 or 5 years ago. She probably thought she was better than us. They came from a kind of a Brahmin society. All right. But that doesn't mean that she should have her life destroyed because she was friends with some people and they wanted to steal and blame her. And this woman who called the police on the guy in Central Park, the guy said, you need to leave her alone. You need to back off. She made a mistake. She's learned her lesson. She's probably a better person for it. My whole life, especially growing up, when Christianity and Catholicism had a much stronger influence on our society, we saw it as a negative. We saw it as restrictive. They wanted to restrict our activities. They wanted to restrict our thought processes. They wanted to tell us how to live. And we didn't want that. We didn't want the church telling us how to live, and we fought against it. And for most of society, that is now true. The church does not have the same impact in a lot of people's lives that it had when I was a little kid. Christianity has, and I'm not talking about the people, I'm talking about the philosophies of Christianity, have lost their influence in Western society. And the secular humanists, which I consider myself to be, took hold. But Christianity has something that secular humanism doesn't have. And that is the concept of forgiveness. We have now moved towards a society that does not forgive. We have now moved towards a society that does not forget. We have now moved towards a society that refuses to allow healing. We have now moved towards a society that will dig through someone's past to find the smallest of snafu, or to take something that was done 25 or 30 years ago and then try to project upon it some sort of whatever the new morality is upon that, and then destroy that. So even if you're like me and you view the church with jaundiced eye, you cannot deny that at least within Christianity, there is the concept of forgiveness. And maybe that lady who called the cops on that guy in Central Park deserves our forgiveness. He thinks so. He thinks so. Let's see what we got here. Joanna Vicich says, no one should ever call someone names, especially if meant with negative intentions. We need to lead by example, treat others the way you want to be treated. That's true, Joanna. As a comic, I say, Joanna, unless you enjoy being treated like shit. So if you're those people go, I want people to treat me the way I treat myself, and I hate myself. Well, then we got a problem. All right, just a little common courtesy, just a little common decency. The place for a long time, the accepted place in modern society for inappropriate language was the world of stand-up comedy. And now you got comics who are being castigated for what they may have said that was perfectly acceptable, or was said to be said in a room full of people, or said to be said on a recording that was to be played in someone's home only by people who decide they want to listen to it, is being used against them. It's kind of a weird time. I was talking to my brother about something last night. He was talking about how there's a whole generation of boomers being canceled by cancel culture. And oddly enough, we did the same thing with the generation before us. Those of us that came up in the 60s didn't want to listen to anybody who'd been through the Depression or World War II. We didn't listen to you old man and your stories. And there's a lot of that going on now. But I pointed out to him, and I say this to you, Jerry, okay, for you and I both, ain't nobody canceling me. All right, man. I don't know how we went there, but we went there. That's where we went. Hey, and we're going to continue finding ways for people to enjoy themselves, forgive themselves, and have fun. We're going to do that. We're going to continue finding ways for people to enjoy themselves, forgive themselves and others, and have fun. And one of the best ways to do that is to have a laugh. And that's why I'm so excited about JP's Comedy Club. Please check out their Facebook page. I don't think Jim's got his website up yet, but please check out the Facebook page. It's going to be a really great environment for creativity and fun and laughter coming up. Hey, let's, what do I want to talk about now? I want to talk about the music. Someone said they're waiting for a bobblehead. I don't have a bobblehead for you today, okay? I can't take that. I can't take the bobblehead pressure anymore. There's too much bobblehead pressure. Every day, you people want a new bobblehead. Do you know how much space these bobbleheads take up now? They have taken over my office. The other day, they were having a meeting, and they threw me out. They were in a Bobbleheads Anonymous meeting, and I would not identify as a bobblehead, and they threw me out. I was thrown out of my own office by bobbleheads because I would not identify as a bobblehead. And so they said this was a closed meeting for bobbleheads only. I've got like 60 damn bobbleheads in this office now, and I've done it for you people. I don't like bobbleheads. I don't like the first damn thing about them. I don't like they stand all motionless and their heads just move. I don't trust them. I got one here, but I've showed it to you before. Mo from the Three Stooges. Look at that. Look at that. Would you trust that? Look at that. Does that look like an honest man to you? No. Look at that, YouTubers. You hear that? You hear that? ComedySchoolsRadioNetwork.com. You hear that coming at you? Can you wait? Imagine wake up in the middle of the night and there was like 20 bobbleheads sitting at the edge of your bed going, we're not happy with what you've been saying about us on the radio. That would be weird. So I don't have a bobblehead for you today. I'm not going to say I haven't been looking for bobbleheads. Now, I will not order bobbleheads over the internet. We did order Mo, all right? Every rule is made to be broken on occasion. Mo was on it, but that was so to complete the set because we had a Larry and a Curly. Tina Mike Love says you're going to lose a following if you get some. See, it's a monstrosity. These things are monsters. They'll take over your life. Bobbleheads. You know what? I'm not going to lose because I've got cool music to talk to you about. Every day at this time, what I do is I recommend 2 artists or 2 pieces of music based off my vast and deep and diverse vinyl album collection. True, we have featured some CDs because did you guys think this was going to last this long? This lockdown? This semi-lockdown? This pseudo-lockdown? Do you think it was going to be screwed up this bad by the people who run things? And some have done a good job. Do you think you were going to feel like Christ? I think I'm on my own. I'm on my own. I now have to decide based on all this information coming at me what's going to be best for me and my family. I didn't think it was going to last this long. We started doing this stuff. Well, we'll do it until the lockdown's end of quarantine, till they figure out a way, till they figure out that what has to be done to get a handle on this, until there's a definite proven vaccine, is testing, tracing, treatment, vaccine. Say it with me. This is how you get a handle on a pandemic. First, there's the quarantine, the lockdown. Then there's testing. Then you trace. Once you trace, those who have it are put in some form of isolation, usually just staying in their own house. It's how they got a hold of tuberculosis at one time, another pandemic. It's tried and true throughout the centuries. Testing, tracing, treatment, vaccine. But oh no, not in this country, not in the 21st century. It's test, don't test. Too many tests. Too many. If we didn't test, so the insanity of a statement like, if we didn't test so many people, we wouldn't have so many cases. And then anybody listens to that and doesn't go, it's fucking insane. That's just nuts. Okay? People going, if I'm not sick, why should I be tested? To find out if you're going to get sick. Just like to find out if one of those things on your head, you have them test to find out they're precancerous when they start farming up. No, let them go until the cancer's rotted into your brain. Same thing with COVID. Don't even get tested. Just walk around making out with people until you're all laying together. Maybe it's supposed to be some sort of hospital orgy people are planning where they all enjoy laying with a tube up their mouth and their ass in the air. I don't know, man. But anyway, we didn't think we'd be here this long. We didn't think we'd ever make it through our entire album collection. We haven't, but we've gotten to some pretty esoteric stuff now. So we have been mixing in CDs as well. Let's get to the music. Who am I going to recommend to you today? First off, just because I love this album cover. There you go. Nothing says the 60s more than an album cover like that. And no voice. I'm not going to say no voice was as popular, but one of the most popular voices in the 60s. One other than Mr. Smokey Robinson. This was Smokey Robinson and the Miracles. Like a lot of the trajectory of a lot of things, to start out as the Miracles, then Smokey Robinson and the Miracles, then just Smokey Robinson, then just Smokey. Little tidbit, I used to live in Chatsworth, California, and I lived where Topanga Canyon ends up in the hills. Topanga Canyon runs from the ocean to the hills of Chatsworth in Los Angeles, through the breadth of Topanga Canyon, through the San Fernando Valley, into the hills. And I lived in a really cool condo up there that was beautiful. It was just a magical place. And off to my left in the distance were a bunch of mansions. They not so much to ruin the aesthetic of looking out into this, the California scrub hills, but there were these mansions, and Smokey Robinson lived in one of those mansions. Never met him, never saw him. It was him, George Lucas, Brad Pitt's dad. Val Kilmer's dad. I'm sorry. Val Kilmer's dad. I think he's the one who developed it. But Smokey Robinson, I live near Smokey Robinson. This is an album from the 60s. This is, on the back, it says, The Sound of Young America. It's on the Tamla label. Tamla is a trademark of the Motown Record Corporation. Other albums available for your listening pleasure were The Miracles doing Mickey's Monkey. That was early. The Miracles, from the beginning, greatest hits from the beginning. The Miracles going to a go-go. and the Miracles, Away We A Go Go, and then this, Make It Happen. And there's a lot of great tunes on here, but the monster, the one that stays with us, the one that stayed with us from the day we heard it up until now, is, of course, I just saw it. I was looking at it. Tears of a Clown. Tears of a Clown is one of those songs that when you hear it once, you never forget it again. And every time you hear it, you go, that's a good song. They knew how to put together a record in Detroit in those days. So we're recommending, if you haven't gone and listened to the Miracles or Smokey Robinson Miracles, YouTube that. Look at some of their television performances. This looks like it's from a live performance on the cover. Cover photograph was done by a guy named Frank Dandridge. I wonder if Frank's still alive. There was a man sitting in an audience who took this picture, and it became an album cover. And on that album was one of the biggest hits to ever come out of Motown or out of American music, Tears of a Clown. So anyway, I love that album cover, so I thought I'd show it to you. So it's true that when Motown was in vogue, I was a very young guy, and I was more of a rock and roll guy, not rock and roll. Rock and roll was different than rock. I was a rock guy. And my appreciation of Motown probably really developed strongly in my early 20s. And really developed listening to the Four Tops. I'm not talking about, mass hits by Stevie Wonder and stuff like that. I'm talking about those groups. And going back and revisiting Diana Ross, the Supremes, go, damn, this was good. You're early 20s living in Hollywood, living in L.A., someone's having a party at their house, and they put on some Diana Ross, the Supreme music. People started dancing. They just started dancing. Okay? So my appreciation developed a little later, not when I was in my early teens or my adolescence or pre-adolescence. What I was listening to at that time was this guy and his band. That's Alvin Lee. That's 10 years after. Okay, a trio. A quartet. A quartet coming to us out of England. Once again, one of those English bands that had embraced the type of American music that all of America had not embraced yet. And I'm talking about black blues music. I'm talking about black rhythm and blues music. I'm talking about the music came out of the plantations of Mississippi and the Delta of Mississippi, and out of the nightclubs of Chicago. But these guys in England they knew it was something, and they played it and they fed it back to us. And one of the greatest practitioners of the guitar, of blues guitar, lightning quick, yet every note counting, was Alvin Lee of 10 Years After. On this particular album, side one, we got You Give Me Lovin', which is a great blues rave up. Okay? Convention Prevention, Turned Off TV Blues, Standing at the Station. That's another great blues song. You Can't Win Them All. Religion, Tomorrow I'll Be Out of Town. Rock and Roll Music to the World, which is the title of this album. But my favorite of it is Choo Choo Mama. Choo Choo Mama, going to ride on the train. So if you want to hear what was going on in the 60s, because now a lot of times if you're going to listen to album-oriented rock, classic rock, you think it's all Doors, Led Zeppelin, Crosby, Stills, Nash. That's what you think it is. These guys were some of the most popular players. An immortal performance by Alvin Lee of I'm Going Home at Woodstock. One of the great, great, great recorded performances of a man at the top of his game on his guitar. Many years after that, in the 90s, my brother, as a birthday present, took me to a concert at the Greek in Los Angeles that featured, I want to say at that one, it featured Steppenwolf and Alvin Lee. And there may have been more. Jerry would know exactly. He remembers those sort of things. I get a little foggy on it. And he was just as good then. Why he is not mentioned in the same breath as Eric Clapton or Jimmy Page, I do not know. Funny things happen in careers. Some of them have nothing to do with the man or the artist. Some of it has to do with legality. Standing in the Station is one of the best train songs ever. All right, so my brother Jerry knows this well. He is a true Alvin Lee fan. So I would really recommend that. I'm going to recommend Choo Choo Mama. And Jerry is recommending Standing at the Station. Roger McGuinn was at that concert. That's right. It was one of those kill a bunch of birds with one stone. See the guy from the Birds, see Steppenwolf, see Alvin Lee. It was a great night, Jerry. I still appreciate it to this day. So we're recommending listen to Tears of a Clown by Smokey Robinson Miracles, and from 10 Years After, Choo Choo Mama and Standing at the Station. Please check those out. You'll be glad you did. It'll bring a little sunshine into your life. Hey, man, tune in every day to find out more. Pretty soon, I'm going to tell you how you'll be able to win free tickets to see JP's Comedy Club. Maybe a free Zoom ticket if you live someplace other than the greater Phoenix area. But if you live in the greater Phoenix area, you want to start getting ready to buy tickets to see these shows now. Limited seating because of social distancing, but live and happening for you. You've been watching Living on a Thin Line. My name's Tony Vicich. Bye-bye. All right.